Today is Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. I am your reporter, and this is 3D, the Daily Dossier. Update. Japanese Prime Minister Takaishi is moving immediately to reappoint her cabinet today. She has stated she will not bask in the afterglow and is already pushing for a delayed budget to fund her military and economic realism agenda. Nigeria. Transparency International released its 2025 Corruption Perceptions Index today. Nigeria is ranked 37th most corrupt nation globally. Domestically, mourning continues for the 30 people killed in Sunday's Kano truck crash. Sudan. The Rapid Support Forces, RSF, carried out a second major strike in 48 hours, bombing a military hospital in South Kordofan, killing at least 22 people. Iran. A Tehran court has sentenced Nobel Peace Prize laureate Narges Mohammadi to an additional 7.5 years in prison. Meanwhile, the IRGC Navy seized 2 foreign oil tankers in the Persian Gulf on allegations of fuel smuggling. Italy. Foreign policy tensions are rising as Rome prepares for the Munich Security Conference. Domestically, Ferrari's massive stock buyback continues to dominate financial news. Burkina Faso. The government is facing international scrutiny following the dissolution of political parties, while simultaneously launching a major World Bank-funded digital infrastructure project. France. Tensions are high ahead of the Munich Security Conference. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is expected to attend, with France pushing for less European reliance on U.S. military equipment. Russia. Russian forces struck a market in Druzhkivka using cluster munitions, killing 7 civilians. Economically, the country is grappling with emergency power outages in occupied territories following infrastructure counterstrikes. Taiwan. China has officially urged Prime Minister Takaishi to retract erroneous remarks regarding Taiwan following her election victory, labeling her agenda provocative. Venezuela. After Sunday's release of political prisoners, prominent opposition figure Juan Pablo Guanipa was kidnapped by armed men in civilian clothing just hours after his release. Cuba. The suspension of jet fuel supplies has officially begun, grounding several domestic and regional flights as the energy crisis peaks. Honduras. President Nasri Asfira has returned from Mar-a-Lago. Rumors of a potential U.S. pardon for his predecessor, Juan Orlando Hernandez, continue to stir local political debate. Netherlands. The TenneT grid sale to Germany has entered final stage negotiations, viewed as a landmark deal for European energy integration. Germany. Bird flu data. Germany remains the hardest hit in Europe with 177 poultry outbreaks and 2,445 wild bird cases so far this season. Most affected region. Lower Saxony remains the epicenter, followed by Saxony-Anhalt in the east. South Korea. Despite record semiconductor demand, the government announced new measures to combat demographic collapse as birth rates reached a new quarterly low. Libya. Legal battles over the 2012 Benghazi attack have resurfaced in U.S. courts following recent arrests, while the Sarkozy Libyan funds scandal continues to reverberate in Tripoli. Portugal. President-elect Seguro is finalizing his transition team. The focus is on a moderate economic path to counter the recent surge of the far right. Global thread, the Pragmatist pivot. Today's thread connects Japan, France, Germany, and South Korea through a shared shift toward hard-nosed realism. Voters in Japan just gave Takaishi a supermajority not for her nationalism, but for her promise of economic security in a dangerous neighborhood. This mirrors the current mood in Germany and France, where leaders are pivoting away from ideological culture wars to focus on raw survival, specifically energy independence, the Tenet deal, and military autonomy. Even South Korea, despite its tech wealth, is pivoting its entire national strategy toward realist demographic fixes. It seems 2026 is becoming the year where work-life balance, which Takaishi famously discarded, is being sacrificed globally for national stability. Fun fact in closing. Italy, Iran, and Portugal are all connected by the history of the blue and white ceramic. The Portuguese brought Chinese porcelain to Europe, but it was Italian potters who first tried to mimic it using tin glazing, while Persian artisans were the ones who actually provided the original cobalt blue pigment to China centuries earlier. Today, you can find traces of this shared blue and white heritage in the tiles of Lisbon, the Mosque of Esfahan, and the Renaissance plates of Florence.